Ready? Yeah, let's go. It's good, fam. Yeah, let's see. Getting up out of here. Oh, yeah. Let me just get a little situated here. Get this down up under my voice. All right. Can you hear me clearly? I know there's one or two people in here. Can I be heard clearly? Just want to make sure because I had a reset issue and I just want to make sure that I am heard. What's going on, Sue? What's going on, Free? And I'm going to try to see if I can view it from all angles before I really get going. Make sure that a few people that are going to check the stream out don't have any audio issues. All right. So I think I am up. It's Monday. And I decided to go all in with the Relationshitt today. Really wanted to talk about what a relationship is, what a relationship ain't. You know, we always hear these relationship goals, and I don't really think a lot of people have relationship goals. I think they just say it because it sounds good. I don't think they're really bent on making sure that they meet any real relationship goals. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see it. So when I hear relationship goals, I kind of look at it with a side eye, just depending on who's talking about it. When I look at relationships, period, sometimes I look at it with a side eye, just based on who's saying it, who's in it. You know, sometimes in relationship, there's more than two people. And I ain't just talking about polygamist. I'm talking about there's more than two people in a relationship. Sometimes you could be in a relationship with somebody and you relationship with their family, whether it be their mama, their daddy, their brothers and sisters, their friends. Friends are generally the most culpable people when we talk about being in relationships. I think friends hurt relationships more than anybody. And then you got your immediate family members. But one of the things that I always have tried to do is to keep my family out of my business. And I know that that's not always first and foremost for a lot of people, but I try to keep my family out of my business when I deal with relationships, because I've noticed that when your family gets incorporated into your relationship, it then becomes their relationship. Thanks, Free. Letting me know I'm crystal clear. Hopefully I'm crystal clear within my message today, because my message should come through thorough for those who want to hear it. And if you've noticed, my backdrop today are a few so-called relationship gurus, so-called relationship experts, so-called relationship coaches. You know, I didn't really dig into anybody's background much. You know, I got a couple things to say about each and every individual that's up on the screen. But I didn't dig into nobody's background any more than I really needed to talk about them, because I ain't here to talk about them. I'm here to talk about me. I'm here to talk about you. I'm here to talk about us. I'm not here to talk about them. See, that's their thing. They like to talk about y'all, but behind the walls of their homes, you got to understand what a lot of them go through. I mean, some of them people are really, really, really familiar to y'all. Some of them folks on that backdrop are really, 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 really familiar to y'all. I'm way less familiar than any of them. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, when I think about them, I can't really compare myself to them. I'm not on the level of them, you know, but this is all about relationships. And they can read your relationship. And that's why they call them experts and coaches and gurus and whatnot. So we're going to talk a little bit about them, you know, just to break them down. Come down here. I'm going to go down where the question mark is, because the question mark, that might be like my next spot. You know, I might be on somebody's backdrop one day talking about relationships. So I'm going to leave that question mark open for myself today. But it is what it is. Hopefully you had a great weekend, and a lot of you started your work week today. Some people work on Sundays. I get it. But a lot of you started your work week today, and hopefully you are in a position of contentment all the way up to happiness. We don't want you going the other way. We need you to be at least content. Wherever you are, wherever you working, whatever you're doing, we need you to be content. Because if you are not content, you should not be there. If your sanctity is not intact, you should not be there. And I don't care what kind of job it is. If you are unhappy within your situation, you need to find something else to do. I am not telling anybody today, tomorrow, or Wednesday to quit their job. Okay? Because all I got for you is some good advice, and I might even have a meal or two for you, but we can't go much further than that. So I'm not telling nobody to quit their job, but what I am telling you to do is to make sure that your job is not killing you. Your job is not making you unhappy. You have to be happy in what you do. And at the very, 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 very least, you have to be content. So I'm going to start clockwise. We're going to go from left to right all the way around. And then we'll get to myself, We'll get to myself. I never try to make myself first, and I'm not going to try today. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about everybody that's on this backdrop, this esteemed backdrop, because these are some of the people that I know most of y'all listen to on a regular basis, or you've heard them and you've listened to them. That one up in the top left corner, his name is Paul Brunson. And you probably have seen him online, or you may have went to one of Paul's mixers, because that's what they call them. He did those mixers, kind of like the speed dating type things, but they were real mixers in your clubs, in your nice restaurants. So you might have sat around and had some finger foods and had some cocktails and met somebody at one of Paul Brunson's mixers. And I guess after he put a lot of belly fat on a bunch of people and a bunch of drunks hooked up, he considered himself a relationship expert. He considered himself a relationship guru. So he jumped in the pool because he was a financial analyst. He dealt with money before. And then all of a sudden he decided that he wanted to hook people up by feeding them, cheese sticks and calamari and cocktails, and called them dating mixers. And then he became a relationship guru. So go figure. So the next is pretty much the auntie of relationship counseling, relationship guruing, relationship experts. She is the auntie, Ayala Van Zandt. I mean, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it because she is relationship guru royalty. She's been on TV, she's been on radio, she's written books, been in magazines, and she has an opinion that a lot of people cherish. Personally, no. She could be considered even a spiritual guide. A lot of women, when I was in church, a lot of women followed her. And now I know why that I'm not in church. Oh, yeah, I know why the church ladies like Ayala Van Zandt, And she has her positive points, but she definitely has her negative points. So it is what it is. The next brother, rest in power, Brother Kevin Samuels, he met an untimely passing. I don't believe 56 years old is when you need to go. At least I hope not, because that means I only got 3 more in this mug. He met an untimely passing, and that was too bad. And I feel for that brother and his family. But the one thing that I have to say about that brother, when he was delivering his message, he was unapologetic with it. He was unapologetic with it. And I feel like I'm going to be the same way with this relationship, because I am unapologetic in my life. I am unapologetic with my family. I'm unapologetic in the way I live with relationships, because I live with relationships. I live with them. I truly do. I don't put myself in a position to be in a relationship that is dying. And I've been in several relationships that were dying, but where I thrive the most is where I live within relationships. And then Brother Kevin, because he was who he was, there's other people that may not be as staunch in their opinion, but they're very straightforward. And that next person, Demetria Lucas, she's very, very straight to the point. She's very, very straight to the point. She's written books, you know. I mean, I guess maybe I need to write a book. to be a guru. Maybe I need to write a book. At least I'd have something to sell. I'd have something to promote, other than the fact that I've got a lifelong history of relationships. I guess I need to put it in print, or at least on the digital sense, you know, because ain't nobody really doing print books right like that no more, are they? I mean, maybe some people are, but I got Audible. You know, I got Kindle, and I prefer the book to be read to me while I'm doing my thing, and then I can go back 10 seconds, go back 30 seconds. If I heard something like pique my interest, okay. Sometimes you don't do that when you just reading the words, you just keep going, and then you got to go back and look at something. See, if I hear something, I stop it and go back 10, 20, 30 seconds, so I make sure I get that message thoroughly, you know. But yeah, she's very, very, very straightforward. And then the other lady, the funny thing is, the other lady actually works for Essence magazine. She is kind of like a Black Dear Abby. You know, she would be considered a Black Dear Abby, I would say. And she speaks for the culture. She speaks for the lifestyle. She speaks for relationships in general. I don't really look at her as cutting edge, but I do look at her as thorough in her advice that she does give. She makes people open up. That's what her forte is. And I think that's really what my forte is as a person. I allow people to talk to me. I'm a good communicator in the way where I can get people to talk to me fairly easily, where there's a lot of people that's really difficult to do. I don't know why it's so difficult for some people to open up, like when they go to like psychiatrists or psychologists. I mean, that's what you're there for. And then they have a really hard time, but then I do. Because sometimes a psychologist and sometimes a psychiatrist don't really make it easy for you to open up, even though you're there to talk to them, even though you're there to so-called spill your guts. They don't really make it really easy for you to talk to them. And that's their fault. Because at $100, $200, $300 an hour, they should be some of the easiest people to talk to in the world. And I know that I've been very easy for folks to talk to for absolutely nothing. And that must change. That must change. And the next brother is named Rob Hill. You know, Rob's one of those guys. He's kind of a dip and dab guy. You know, he's part spiritual, part love. He likes to put all that stuff together. You know, to me, that's a fence straddler in a lot of ways, because either you're over here or you're over here, you're over here, you're over here. But don't try to do all of them, because I think you miss the meaning, or you may miss the point of what that person really needs from you by trying to be everything. See, one thing that I know that has made me easier to talk to than a lot of people, they have a term called meeting people where they are. I'm pretty good at meeting people where they are. I'm pretty decent at it. I have to say so. I don't speak on a lot of my skill set, but I will say that I am really good at meeting people where they are. And a person may be at the highest heights, or a person may be all the way in the cellar. No matter where they are, I generally can meet them. I generally can build with them from where they are. How positive or how negative that build is really depends on them. It doesn't have anything to do with me, because I'm meeting them where they are, and I'm allowing them to somewhat dictate the direction, and then where I see myself, where I can get in, That's where I fit in. Now, these last two individuals, I could have put two individual pictures up there, but I didn't think it was even worth it. The second to last one is, everybody knows him, Steve Harvey. Stand-up comedian Steve Harvey. Let's start there. That's how I first came to know Steve Harvey, as a stand-up comedian. Okay? He told jokes for a living. And he did really, really, really well at it. He became one of the Kangs. He became one of the Kangs of comedy. Okay? I mean, it's amazing how all them Kangs came after Richard and Red and all them people was gone, but that's okay. There was nobody to argue who the Kangs were at the time, so it's no big deal. Not to me. Because, hell, I went and saw it. I paid that $100+ per ticket to go see him. And we was close, too. We was close. Saw the Kangs of comedy. Well before the DVD came out, right? So we saw him live, then we went and saw the movie, and then we got the DVD. So we had all kind of Kangs. And I liked Steve when he was a Kang of comedy. I've liked him as an actor. Kind of plays the same kind of role. He's never really stretched himself in acting. But what are they paying Steve for? They're paying him to be Steve Harvey. I listened to his radio show when I felt like it was really on point. But then somebody told him he could be a relationship guru, and he ran with it. Think like a man. Act like a hoe, whatever. I forgot what them things were. But he did what he did. And he's made a lot of money at being a relationship counselor, a relationship guru, a relationship coach. To me, he's still Steve Harvey, the stand-up comedian. And I think a lot of things that he tells people in relationships is funny. So, mission accomplished. And this last individual, known for sitting in parking lots of women that he just had sex with, or he's just about to have sex with his married ass, Derrick Jaxn. Derrick Jaxn was beloved by so many women. And I know women probably like Derrick Jaxn more for the way he looked, for his muscular physique, for his chocolate skin, for his smooth talking. He was so articulate. So, yeah, he's sitting in a parking lot making a video before or after he's going to walk inside and have sex with somebody that's not his wife. That's y'all guru? That's y'all relationship coach? That's y'all expert? Okay. Y'all something else. And then this next dude, it's just me. Like I said, I'm a coach. And I'm a coach way different about relationships than I would about football or basketball or baseball or any type of sport, because relationships are different. So when I coach about sports, it's about competing. And when I coach about relationships, there should be absolutely no competition within a couple. But there is. A lot of y'all couples, y'all competing. And I think that's why a lot of the relationships out here, people are losing. I believe people lose in relationships when they don't give the proper edification to their mate to know we are not in competition with anybody but the world. It's us against them. It's not us against one another. And I think that that's what happens a lot. And what I want to do, I want to dig right into the word, because a lot of people don't really understand the word of relationship and what it means, what it truly means to be defined. Relationship, the way in which two or more concepts, objects, or people are connected, or the state of being connected. Similar to connection, relation, association, link. We hear that a lot. Link up. We're going to link up. We also hear sneaky link a lot too. Correlation. So you need to be in direct correlation with your mate. Correspondence. We're going to come back to parallel in a minute. Tie in. I like that tie in. That tie up, that's for a whole different type of relationship. Some of y'all probably doing that in y'all relationship. Some of y'all probably been tied up before. Some of y'all probably done tied some folks up before. Figuratively and literally. An alliance, a bond. Interrelation, interconnection. Okay? The state of being connected by blood or marriage. And that's where things can get a little confusing, because you can be married to somebody and still not be in a relationship with them. Or I've seen people have great relationships and never get married. Similar to family ties, family connections, blood relationship, blood ties, kinships, affinity. I've never pronounced that word there, but we're going to give it a shot. Consanguinity. Common ancestry. Common lineage. We talk about lineage a lot in the spaces that I'm in. Yes, we do. But where I'm at now, I have to know the definition of what I'm dealing with. And what I'm dealing with is a relationship. Anybody I come in contact with, I am in a relationship with. For how long? I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. So what I try to do is I try to put myself in a space to where if I am in a relationship with somebody, it's a fruitful one. That at the very, very least, we are content. We have to be content. If we can't be content, we can't be here with each other. Okay? That's just where we at with it. That's just where we at with it. So that's me. It's something that was done a long time ago, but I had a good time doing it. And I've been talking about that locomotive that's moving. It is moving. And as it moves, there are going to be people that are going to board. And then there's going to be people that leave. And once somebody leaves a train, it's very, very difficult to get back on. I mean, think about it. If a train is moving and you walk off, what are your chances of catching back up to that train unless it stops? And I have no intention of stopping. Once again, everybody that's going to check this out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram got to get it together, because Instagram says that you can actually sync your stuff up to StreamYard and go live, but you really can't. You really can't. But please subscribe to the Relationshitt channel on YouTube and Instagram. I'm rolling through the Friedman Media link on Twitter, but they know what it is. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this. It's going to be worth the people that you know didn't hear it, hearing it. And then they can get tapped in to my relationship. Uniting with somebody does not necessarily mean there is a union. You feel me? Uniting with somebody does not necessarily mean that there is a union. You can get with somebody. People do it all the time. They get with other people, but they're just uniting. They're not a union. And it's unfortunate. It's so unfortunate that when you have two individuals and they never become a unit, that's not a good thing. But when I look at people and their entanglement, because if it's not a union, I guess it would have to be considered an entanglement. I hate using that word after Jada Smith and that boy who just came out as gay. I just wonder what was going on in the Smith household when that news was revealed. If she hadn't insulted that man enough, and I just felt like Will should have just walked away. When he walked off that stage, he shouldn't have walked back and sat in that crowd. I know he had to accept his award and all that, but he should have just kept walking. He should have never looked back. But they say love is thicker than water. Well, it's probably thicker than not having a prenup. It's good with your John Henry. But yeah, when people are uniting, I think the ultimate goal should be to build a union. And when a union is not built, you indeed just have an entanglement. You may have a sexual relationship, or what they would just consider a physical relationship, but there's nothing spiritual about it. I mean, you might holler out, "Oh God," a lot. Jesus, God. But ain't no spirituality in that thing. And if you don't become a union, because what a union does, it's the building of a team. And when you have the building of a team, that right there can work its way into an unbreakable bond. Sister Cynthia, good afternoon. How you doing? Appreciate you coming through. Having that unbreakable bond, that's what that union is all about. That's what relationship goals should be. That's that real relationship. When you got a union and you got a bond that nobody can break, nobody can infiltrate. You doing your thing then. You doing your thing. You ain't always got to be together either. See, that's when your bond is strong. When the two people that are in a relationship, when they're not together, but they still strong. Oh my goodness. That's powerful. People don't respect two individuals that are in a union. A lot of times they don't see each other, maybe because they got different business practices that take them away from each other for a significant amount of time of the day. Maybe they only see each other really on the weekends. Maybe most of the time they even looking at each other is when they sleep. Somebody comes in later than the other and the other one's already asleep, and then they go to sleep and then they wake up separate times. Hey, does not mean they do not have a union. It does not. What it means is they have a bond. What it means is they have an understanding. What it means is they have a relationship. And that's that real relationship. That's that real relationship. So where I am in my life, I try to break things down to the lowest common denominator. And what I found with relationships, it's all about the union. It's all about what you do with that bond. Because if you don't build that bond, you have nothing. It's just a ticking time bomb for destruction. It's going to end soon. And to be honest with you, I would hope it does. I don't want to see anybody in a situation that they're not happy with that goes long. Trust me, I've been there. I did that, and I damn near died, y'all. I damn near died. And I didn't even know I was that close to death. Not so much like I was being threatened, but I was in constant turmoil, and in constant turmoil leads to stress, and stress will kill you. Stress will kill you. Stress will kill you faster than a bullet will. There you go. See, I got me some educators up in here because I don't believe that I am one, but I've got some critically thinking educators up in here. The high level of respect solidifies the bond. Kick that relationship, says Cynthia. You have to be in a position of respect of one another for that bond to form. Because if the respect doesn't materialize, that bond will never materialize. You've got to respect one another. You've got to respect the situation that you're in. Let's say you're talking to a group of people, and if that group of people does not respect you, you don't build that bond with that group of people, you will not get your message across. You may just stand up there for about an hour or two. You absolutely will. You'll speak to them walls that you're within for an hour or two. But if you don't have the respect of those individuals, you will not create that bond. Therefore, your message will be moot. And I just want to tell some people, I'm going to come up for this just so y'all know, so y'all can hear me say it. Sometimes when you don't see a person say it, you don't hear them say it. But let me just tell you, the term is moot, not mute. So when somebody says, my point is mute, that means their point is silent. But if your point is moot, that means it can be disregarded. Some of y'all don't know the difference between moot and mute. Some good preaching, family. They don't hear me, Sister Cynthia. They don't hear me. They don't hear me. Excuse me. But when you have the respect is going to get you and your message across. And that's going to help you build that bond with the people that you're talking to, with the person that you're talking to, who you need to build that relationship with. Because if you don't, your message will be moot. Your relationship goals will be moot. And you won't have that relationship. And at some point, you will be mute to that individual or those individuals. That's that boomerang game that I got, y'all. I take the message way out there. I'll send it out there like we flying a kite, like I'm sending a reel, cast it out to the water, and then I slowly bring it back in. That's the way I do it. That's the way I do it. You know, I might not be an expert, a guru, a coach, a spiritual guide like these folks, but I know what goes where and why. And I know Steve done have multiple wives. Derek Jackson done cheated on his wife. I don't know about anybody else's relationship. I think Ayanna Van Zandt, I think she done had a couple men's. She done had a couple men's. So when I hear about all these people that have these relationship credentials, why they can't stay in one? Why they can't stay in one? Because see, I ain't gonna never call myself an expert at something that I've failed at consistently. I've been in a lot of relationships, y'all. Been in a lot of relationships. Some good, some bad, some happy, some sad. Only a few that I really regret. There's only a few that I really, really regret. Thanks, sis. It's all got to come from an organic state. If what you're speaking on is not from an organic state, how is anything else going to be real? Because I believe that some of these relationship gurus, some of these relationship coaches, some of these people that they call experts, I don't believe they started organically. I believe they had other jobs. I believe they had other careers. I believe they had other goals and somehow fell into a space where they may be considered an expert at one thing, then they went to another thing, then it became that thing, and now they're doing this thing. But I don't believe they're relationship experts. I mean, because I've failed at so many relationships, I can possibly tell many people on many different levels how not to fail. Because I've had successful relationships where they were successful at the time, I can tell you how to succeed in certain situations in a relationship. But I don't believe I could call myself an expert. Who we can call those experts are those people that stayed together for 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years and didn't walk away. Those people, I believe, have the keys. Those people have the keys, because you got to know that anybody that stays together that long, they didn't agree on everything. Absolutely not. They weren't feeling each other every day. Absolutely not. There were some days that they just literally was like, I'd wish this person shut the hell up. Like now. And maybe they were in some situations where they wanted those people to shut up forever. But whatever happened, they were able to work it out at the end of the day. And once that day passed, they saw whatever it was that was bothering them, it wasn't big enough to go without that individual. So when people stay together for decades, that takes perseverance, that takes patience, but it also takes a little bit of shut the hell up. And I see a lot of times with a lot of young people nowadays, they just don't want to stop talking. I'm an over talker. I'm an over explainer. I over explain a lot because I want my message heard and I don't like repeating myself. I think that's why I spit the way I spit, because I don't like repeating myself. And I've come to the place where, since I don't like repeating myself, I speak at lengths to the point where I'm like, I'm going to give it to you this way, that way, every way, so you don't have to ask me to say this over again, because I don't like that. But unification means a lot to me. Being in a union means a lot to me. I like that. Healthy relationships buffer adverse health. I don't believe I've ever seen anyone be in an unhealthy relationship and not have a whole bunch of health issues. I mean, let's just kick the ballistics. If you are in a unhealthy relationship, you are constantly disgruntled, constantly embattled. How could you very well be healthy? I don't believe you can. I don't believe you can be healthy. But some people would say different. The way I see it, healthy man, healthy woman, healthy relationship. If you don't have that, there's going to be issues, health issues. So where I'm coming from is a place of I want to see healthy relationships. If you don't have a healthy relationship, what do you really have but a bunch of stress, but a bunch of problems, but a bunch of angst? You get off work and the first thing you want to do is go home and use the bathroom, change your clothes, and get your evening started. But if you want a unhealthy relationship, the last thing you want to do when you get off work is go home. So that immediately creates that, what do I got to do? Oh, I can run by the stove. Oh, I can go do this, or I can go do that. Or you end up calling up somebody. Hey, let's run and go grab something to eat. You'll actually sidestep your whole relationship to stay away from that house, to stay away from that unhealthy situation. I've seen it. I've done it. I can't talk about nothing that I haven't done unless it's about a relationship situation that I haven't been in. And then I would be able to at least give some logical advice, some rational advice. And hopefully for that individual or individuals, it's the correct advice. But yeah, an unhealthy relationship will have you running for the hills. I did a little video about unhealthy relationships. And having did that edit, I learned some things about relationships that I'm no longer in, obviously. And it was crazy that I can see what I can see now, but I couldn't see it then. What's that song? I can see clearly now. The tramp is gone. I should have said that. That wasn't nice, but it is nice. I don't care. She was a tramp. Every time I think about my man, health enhancing hormones flood my body. Girl, are you up here? Don't give me the finger snapping. Come on, Sister Cynthia. Don't have me up here finger snapping every time I think about my man's health enhancing hormones flood my body. Yeah, you need to be on poetry night. We should have a relationship spoken word. Talk that relationship. Spoken word style. I'm game for anything. I'm game for anything. And I like people to feel good, not only from what I say, but I like to be that stimulator into a person's thoughts. I'm not always going to be able to give you the exact thought to move on, but if I can at least just stimulate your mind, if I can be a jumper cable of sorts to your thoughts, then I've done my job there. I've done my job. Ain't nothing wrong with being a jumper cable. Ain't nothing, because a jumper cable gets things started, right? On a jumper cable get things started. So yeah. But what we've got to do is we really got to focus on the union, the bond. If we have that in tow, I think we're in good shape. I think we're on the way to something successful if our bond is strong. If we are spiritually connected, has nothing to do with your physical presence for the most part. I mean, there's people that have long distance relationships and they thrive. They thrive. Some people are just not meant to be up underneath one another every single day. But they stay in contact with one another. They stay in touch with one another. Appreciate Sister Cynthia riding with me today. When I catch people in the middle of the day, I don't expect my chat room to be popping, but to be honest with you, my chat room is popping, and it's just a couple of us in here. You got a long distance thing going, Sister Cynthia? Ain't nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Are you happy? Is he happy? That's all that matters. Okay, that's all that matters. You're at one exit and he's at another, you know? And you don't think about all the times in between the time that you can see each other. You think about the time you see each other and the time you're going to see each other again. And in between that, you have a good time. 12 years strong. See that right there? That's that relationship. How many miles separate you and your mate, Sister Cynthia? How many miles? Drop that. You have been going 12 years strong with your man. See, that ain't even your man no more. That's your man. That's your man. 2,000 miles. Wow. 2,000 miles apart. Well, one day, and maybe that will be one day soon, maybe I can connect with you. I'd love to speak on how you have been able to thrive in a long distance relationship for 12 years at a 2,000 mile clip. Speak it. Speak it. Yo, Big Daddy. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And I know when you get up in his ear and you say Big Daddy, it's all over. That's that relationship. I love it. When he calls after that long day and he hears your voice, and somewhere in the midst of that conversation, you call him Big Daddy, that 2,000 miles is nothing at that point. Y'all don't think about no distance at that point. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. So, focusing on the bond, focusing on the union, and to get there, you got to have that spiritual respect for one another. You've got to disallow infiltration into your union. Infiltration in your union will cause your union to be destroyed. It's the way it is. I didn't create the rules. And I know I try to keep that intact in my relationship. Having infiltration has been cancerous to me in the past. So if I can't just be and build with who I'm in a relationship with. What is she doing? What am I doing? If I'm working on something that my homeboy's talking about and she working on something her homegirl's talking about, what are we doing? That's not a relationship. That's an orgy. You keep them out of your business. Friends and family, keep them out of your business. They might want to talk about things, and you can talk about things, but don't you ever let it direct your relationship, because then you're going to be in a whole bunch of relationship. I'm just trying to tell you, that's the way that's going to work out. It's never going to be a good thing when you allow somebody to come in and start pulling the strings in your relationship. There's two strings in a relationship. You've got one and your mate's got one. Or if you're in a situation where this is a group activity, you cast out those strings to the participants in the group, and they'll all grab that string. That's the way that works. And the only way that you can relate to that group is to have that mutual respect. But if that mutual respect becomes a tug of war, your message will be moot, not mute. Sister Cynthia, either you stroking me good or I'm saying some good shit, because you've been like, that's good, thumbs up, damn right. I appreciate that. Actually, you don't cuss. You said darn. You may cuss, but you just don't put it on the streams, and I appreciate that. And I'm trying not to cuss. I've been making good on not cussing. No, I didn't get saved and filled with the Holy Ghost, y'all. I've been there. What good did that do me? That's when I almost died. You mess with that Holy Ghost can get you killed. So yeah, my life has been thorough. My life has been thorough. I've had some ups and I've had some downs. I've had some ins and I've had some outs. Lots of happiness. I've had lots of happiness in my life, but I've also had lots of stress. You know? But at the end of the day, I've had a lot of balance. The balance has definitely outweighed the imbalance. So I don't feel as though I am in any way in a situation to call my life tumultuous, to say that I have a negative situation, to say that I'm in a position of where I'm not happy. Absolutely not. I believe what I've had is I have had a multifaceted life. I've done some what I would see as incredible things, and I only see them as incredible things because people told me they were incredible. I didn't even know they were incredible. Some of the things I just did because I just did. I just thought it was the right thing to do. And then next thing I know, I found out it was an incredible thing. But what I found to be the truest form of identifying how I've lived my life, it's how people relate to me. And the people that have known me for 20, 30, 40 years, maybe all my life, they know who I am. It's them people that just met me on social media that got a problem with me. Because social media is what it is. You get so many characters sometimes, and that's what you say, and that's what you mean, and you move the hell on. But see, some people, they live within those characters, and they break their words down within those characters to sound so intelligent, so eloquent. And some of these mushmouth ass people, oh my goodness, they butcher them characters. Y'all need more characters, but y'all also need more commas and periods and everything too. Them red lines mean something, y'all. When it's got a red line under it, fix that. Fix that before you post that. Because if not, I'm going to talk about that. So, I wanted to put in 60, and I'm at 61. Sister Cynthia, appreciate you riding with me. You know I can get silly, Sister Cynthia. You know I can get silly. You've been with me enough to understand where I'm at with this thing. And I said, I'm going to stay in this space. I'm going to stay in this space because this space needs freshness. And there, I believe this relationship guru, relationship coach, relationship expert space has become stale because everybody done got the bag. And although getting the bag is not a sin, contrary to what some people believe because they don't read the whole Bible verse, the root of all evil is money. No. And we ain't going to get biblical in here. We ain't going to get biblical in here. Y'all just go read the Bible verse and gain the discernment that you're supposed to gain. So I can kick them biblical words like y'all too. But for all the ones that are considered elevated in the relationship space, in the words of Brother Dion, I'm coming. Okay? I'm coming. I'm here now. It's been long enough for y'all to be in this space, and y'all have given up enough advice. But now there's a fresh voice on the scene. Well, that is a good thing. That is a good thing. To allow your mind to be free enough to laugh. And I had heard that. See, I use burning endorphins in another way as far as like movements and things like that. But I guess you'd have to be right on that. Laughter must burn endorphins because look what it does to your system. When they use the term belly laugh, when you have a belly laugh, that's a real hearty laugh. That's a real hearty laugh. That absolutely must burn off endorphins. Well, hopefully I burned off a few endorphins for you, Sister Cynthia. And anybody else is going to catch this. Hopefully I burn off a few for them. But the thing wasn't today to just burn off endorphins. I wanted to stimulate one's mind about what a relationship is and ain't. Y'all be good out here. I'm going to give you a little preview of what we're going to be talking about next. I don't know when I'm going to come right back up. Because I'm going to start running these things off without any type of real scheduling because I've got topics that I need to get out. I've got some relationship endorphins I need to burn. So we're going to talk about this. Yeah, we're going to talk about this. Have you ever thought about someone else during sex? Woo. I'm going to see if I can get some real ones on the mic. I'm going to see if I can get some real ones in the chat room. And I want to hear if people have literally thought about being with someone else during sex. Because I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, to think about someone else during sex. And when I break that down with my boomerang game, you'll understand, like, maybe it ain't so bad to think about someone else during sex. But y'all be good. One love. Thanks, sis.